Okay, 6.1, angle measure and special angles. This will be day number 3. In day 3 video, you will see how to label and find the initial and terminal sides of an angle. You will also see how to draw positive angles, negative angles, and you will also see how to find coterminal angles. Okay, so let's get started. All right, we had talked about it basically when I introduced trig to you the other day, but I figured let's get this in our notes so we're good to go and have it on paper. My reminder, make sure you're taking good notes, make sure you're writing yourself reminders. Obviously, questions and concerns, you should probably wait and write those at the end of this video, but let's kind of take a look. All right, so it says in the picture you see there, label the initial side and the terminal side of the following angle. So notice that I gave you, this was the angle that I am looking for, right? We talked about positive, negative angles. I could have an angle that goes that way, or I could have an angle that goes that way. So be careful. I'm talking about the angle that I just labeled with that arrow. So it says to label the initial side and the terminal side of that angle. Well, good news for you. The initial side will always, 100% of the time, start on the x-axis, and it will always start right there. Okay, it will always start there. So understanding that's always going to be your initial side, that's where you're going to start with drawing every single angle in trigonometry. Your terminal side, obviously, that's the part where your angle stops. So the initial side where it starts, terminal side where it stops. Terminal means where it stops, so obviously terminal side, terminal where it stops. Okay, got it. So initial side, terminal side, I think I'm so far so good. Looking at the next one, what I decided to do, I kind of zipped through this because we talked about it in class the other day. I know that positive angles, they go in this direction. Okay, let's try that one more time. Positive angles go in this direction, and I believe somebody in class the other day said it, positive angles go counterclockwise. Negative angles will go clockwise. So understand the difference between the two of them. Positive, the way that I kind of remember them, I think about this. I know my entire life this has been 90 degrees, right? See what I'm drawing there. I know my entire life this has been 90 degrees. So I know positive angles have to go in this direction. That's the way that I remember it, totally up to you. So if I asked you what would this angle here be, notice that I would have to draw the arrows. What would that angle be? You would tell me that that would be negative 90 degrees. Okay, so positive. I guesstimated and I told you that this was 220 degrees. The positive angle was 220. That means the negative angle would be negative 140. I'm going to tell you that these two angles, they are coterminal angles. Can you explain to me why 220 degrees and negative 140 degrees would be an example? It's not the only example, but can you tell me why it would be an example of coterminal angles? Well, if you think about it, I know that they're coterminal because they share the same terminal side. Coterminal angles are two angles that share the coterminal side. Bonus opportunity. Can you tell me another positive angle besides 220 degrees? Can you tell me another positive angle that would be coterminal with 220 degrees? bonus opportunity. What do you got? All right, so in example 4, I ask you to find a positive and a negative angle that are coterminal with 60 degrees, and I ask you to draw that angle, or draw the original angle. So if I draw 60 degrees, I know that what happens is I always start at the initial side, I end at the terminal side, and I make sure to label that angle as well. So it looks like there is 60 degrees. I ask you to find a positive and a negative that are co-terminal with that 60 degrees. So what do you think? Well, I'm going to start with the negative. I know the negative starts at that initial side. It ends at the terminal side. I know I have to go clockwise. So think, yep, I think that one's pretty easy. Negative 300 degrees will be your negative. Your positive, though, obviously if you got the bonus right, you're going to be able to get this. If you did not get the bonus right, well, now you'll understand how I generate another positive. Think about it. I have to start at the initial side. I have to end at the terminal side. So look at that. I would just have to spin to get back to that 60, to get back to that terminal side. So I think what I did was, well, I'm at 60 degrees. If I spin one full rotation around, that's obviously 360 degrees. If I add the two of them together, it looks like I get 420 degrees would be another angle that is coterminal with 60 degrees. Question: how many positive and negative coterminal angles could there be for 60 degrees? All right, last slide. I'm not going to do this in a video. We are going to do an activity for radian measure and arc length because this is how I convert from radians to degrees. It's the whole basis of trigonometry, so I think it's important that we actually do this activity in class. So I'm going to stop the video here. Obviously, any questions, comments, concerns, let's write them in the box that you're about to see. And good job.